Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the Leaders Unfiltered podcast. This is episode 5, and we are doing this in real life from Las Vegas, ProcureCon 2025, also the 25th anniversary. And drum roll, we have a very special guest today, a fellow Angela. This is the Angela and Angela show today.
We're rebranding.
We're rebranding Leaders Unfiltered, by the way, so the producers can hear that. But we are so excited to have Angela Westhead on the show today. Angela, if anyone has been living under a rock recently and they don't know you in this unique and very special industry that we're part of, give them the rundown, maybe the 30 to 60 second rundown on who Angela Westhead is.
Okay, so I've been in contingent workforce for about 10 years now. I started on the MSP side, and I really started at the bottom, right? So I started onboarding, and it was wonderful. I learned all about how VMSs work and how to deal with contractors, and just kind of worked my way up through workforce logic, and eventually decided, you know what, I want to kind of go on the inside and see what it's like. So I jumped over to Twitter, where I worked for 2 years, and now I'm running our contingent workforce and professional services procurement at Zendesk. So it's been a wild 10 years.
The sweetest person in the world. And I'm really excited about today's show because we're actually going to be taking a personal tour. I think we're going to be giving a lot of advice of how to go in and out of different leadership phases throughout your career while juggling many of the personal pools that we feel throughout those bumps in our career. So a lot to line up for today. And I love how you started from the bottom. Now we're here. I think that could be the theme song of today's show.
Yeah, let's go. That's the official song of the Angela and Angela.
So from the bottom, now we're here. Yes, we're going to do that. Awesome. So just going into the first question that I really wanted to ask you is as you're facing different leadership purviews, right? Because you did start from a very, entry level point within the industry, and you've seen all of these different iterations of success throughout your career. What is one thing that you're looking back on now and saying wow, this is what helped me get there? What is that one attribute you think helped you?
Like a personal attribute. I'm gritty. Yeah. That's the thing. I don't give up. And sometimes that's a bad thing, and sometimes that's a good thing. And it's about finding the balance and the wisdom to know when something is truly not worth your time. Yeah. But if you just give up when it gets hard, you won't get there.
Yeah. So gritty. Where do you think you got that from? Is that from your mom? Is that
I think it's my dad's side, my grandparents on my dad's side.
Yeah.
They are immigrants from England.
Nice.
And grew up in a very working class shipping town, and started over in the US. And so it's a very hard work ethic on that side of the family. And it's very ingrained in me.
Yes. I love that. Okay, so you have seen it from both sides. You started on, the supplier or the vendor side, and then you recently went into, a few years ago, you went into Twitter and you went into Zendesk now. So you've seen both sides of the spectrum, but you've also seen this, I'm sure, in the middle of your career, you go into the tech world, right? So during a very interesting time, right? I think at that organization, can you share what that experience was like? Not only becoming on the buyer side, right, but going through the tech industry with a very interesting time for the organization that you were servicing.
Yeah, I mean, it was life-changing in a lot of ways. And I think one of the reasons was because I had worked so hard to get to that point and get to that role in a company that I was truly passionate about working for, and then to have it all just kind of disappear overnight.
Yeah.
It was shocking in many ways.
So what was that like? So what, from your own personal view, right? You worked so hard to get there, and then literally one day to the next. Can you dive into that a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean when at the end,
you were just let go, or
it was wild. So I think we all kind of knew something was brewing, even though there was not a lot of internal communication about it.
Yeah,
and I think one day we kind of figured out, all right, it's going to happen this week. It's going to be some number of people we don't know. And what actually ended up happening was just an email in the middle of the night.
What?
Yeah. Well, it was 12 a.m. East, and it was your position's no longer required. And this is one of the first times I can remember hearing about a layoff like that.
Yeah.
Just a cold email in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, it's become much more common, which sucks.
Totally.
So to put it professionally. It sucks.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's interesting because losing something that you hold that close to yourself when it's not in your control is actually a really great lesson for me. And it helped me kind of put into perspective my work life versus my personal life and helped me separate my identity from my work. And that was a lesson that I needed to learn, whether it was then or another time. I'm glad that kind of happened in a way, even though it was challenging and I would have preferred to stay working there.
Of course. Or just to stay working.
Yeah, in general, right? I know. I, as a single parent, when I saw that email, it was like, oh no.
Well, and you also had kind of like that looming idea that this was impending, right? Like this was, and it's interesting because here at the panel, right, we just got out of, well, here at the show, we just got out of one of the morning panels and Danny Crouch was one of the panelists. And she says, and for those that are listening that don't know about Danny, she is overseeing the program at Baker Hughes, you know, and there's just a lot of layoffs that are still continuing to happen. So it was called out twice this morning on day one at ProcureCon. So I think that we're still living in this iteration of layoffs. There was a couple of, you know, different episodes since you experienced that. But what if there's somebody listening to this podcast that might have been in that position that you were in a couple of years ago? What advice would you give them now that you can look back on it and say that I got through it, I'm ultimately better for it, but this is what has helped me in that process?
So, okay, the first thing is not, it's going to sound a little flippant, but it's not save your money. Oh my gosh, save your money.
Yeah.
I love to spend money. I love it. It's so fun. It's so fun. I love to get my little things.
Yes.
But what I realized is, I think I heard someone say this before, that when you have a good savings fund, an emergency becomes an inconvenience.
Yeah.
And that was an emergency for me. I did not know what was going to happen. And luckily I got scooped up really fast, but it was scary. But the second thing is that you need to come to terms with or find peace with the fact that it's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
And it's not in your control. And it's not a reflection of you, right? I was a high performer. It was just that my whole service line basically got cut.
Overnight.
Yeah. Literally overnight. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're not immune to it and it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
It's not in your control. And that's an interesting sort of lesson about growing up in general. It's like knowing when things are in your control and when they're not. Yeah. So steel yourself to the fact and just do what you can.
Yeah.
And savings. Oh my gosh.
Savings.
Yes.
Accept a little humility.
Yeah.
The lesson that life is teaching you, and then probably doubling down on your network, right?
That's what I kind of pivoted into afterwards.
Yeah.
People will always say like, oh, you hit the conference scene pretty hard after that. Like, yeah, because I realized that getting the job that I have now was based on the people that I knew that helped me get in the door.
It's the whole network versus net worth analogy there, right? So you decided to willingly make an investment in yourself, and show up in the industry where it mattered, and you've done a fantastic job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I that paired with the fact that they were fantastic women that took time to mentor me throughout my career.
Do you want to call any of them out right now?
Yes, I'm gonna look at the camera.
We're looking at you, fantastic women.
Yeah, I mean, even from my first big girl job, Allison Olsen. I know you're watching this. She took little 22-year-old me and helped mold me into a grown up.
Yeah.
Amy Deal, Erica Novak. You guys really showed me how to treat people beautifully and invested time in me. And yeah, I appreciate those women very much. Yeah. I'm sure there's more that later I'm going to remember and go, oh my God. I forgot so much.
Shout out to those women and many more that have also helped many of the contributors within our industry. One of the things that I think is super admirable about you, Angela, is that you're doing what you're doing, but you're also a single mom. And I was raised by a single mom. So I know the love of a single mom and the sacrifice of a single mom to not live in a co-parented household.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of different directions here that I can go into this question, but I want to go right into you doing it as a single mom, because I think it's really important to recognize that. So when we talk about personal sacrifices that you have made to do what you do and to get to the level in the career where you have in over 10 years, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And not just that, but the reputation aspect of it as well. Can you talk about what kind of sacrifices you have made from your personal life in doing it, just emphasizing it as a single mom?
Well, I think about this a lot because I think the me that I was when I was married and had my daughter is still very much me now.
Yeah.
I love my career. I love what I do. I always wanted to model that for my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something that happens when you become the primary breadwinner of your own household, and there's sort of like a fear or a fire that ignites in you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you become much more invested in it for whatever reason, right? And so in my mind, what I can see is that I'm invested in my career even more now because it's become important for me to support my household and my daughter. And it was a real thought that I had when I got divorced of, I don't want this child to not have the experience and the privilege and the access that she would have had in a two-parent household. And is that a smart thing to really be mentally invested in? Probably not, because it ends up in me doing way more than I should sometimes.
Yeah, we have a tendency to do that.
Yeah, it's not.
I say yes.
It's not great. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So there is that part of me that's always going to be really into my career and really happy with investing time in that. But then there's this other part of me that's like, go out and give this kid the life that she deserves.
Yeah.
And that's both by providing financially, by modeling as a well-educated professional woman, and then also just spending quality time like on the floor playing Barbies together. It's a big puddle of things to do.
Yeah. And we're like still figuring it all out, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like it's a juggle most of the time.
Yes.
Has there ever been a point in your career where you've actually not allowed yourself to excel because of the fact that it could sacrifice your home life as a single parent or even just as a parent out there? Like, has there ever been that question of, do I need to do this and can I actually take it on?
I grapple with that a lot because there's been times in the 8 years that I've been a mom that I've had opportunities presented to me that I just couldn't reasonably take because
that's powerful to know that you've actually passed on those.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting to be a little different now that she's getting older, but there are times where I knew that the right thing was to be in my job where I could work from home and do school pickup and do all the things. You do get to a certain point where I think if you're privileged enough to have all of your financial and your parenting bases covered, where it's actually okay to take a beat. That was another lesson, I think, was I didn't always have to be on the escalator. I didn't always have to be on like that upward trajectory. It's okay to enjoy where you are and have a good balance of work and personal. And I think in my 20s, I was like, no. Upward always, every opportunity.
Your CEO.
Yeah, exactly. But life is short, but it's also long. And there are seasons for things.
Yeah.
Not to be too contrite, but there are.
Yeah, I would agree. I would definitely agree. I think it's really a lot of what you're saying to me just resonates with this fact of like humbling yourself to know to gratify in the moment and not try to take the world. Because if you do, then you don't actually give yourself the opportunity to enjoy what's happening to you right now.
Yeah. It's something I like recently got a promotion at work, right?
Congratulations, by the way.
Oh, thank you. And I said to my manager, I think I just want to enjoy this for a little while. Because usually I'm going to let you rest for 2 years. I'm not going to harass you about how to promote to director.
Yeah.
And he was like, 2 years? Are you sure? I was like, all right, 6 months. Fine. But I want to like sit and enjoy it. I want to like, I've worked really hard. I don't have to be on that hedonic treadmill all the time.
It is so hard to do that.
I know. It's not.
It is so hard because it's almost like, at least from my own experience, you're just so hustle. You're on the go and you're almost numb. If that makes sense. Like you're not even like relishing in the accomplishment and the fact that you can. So I'm actually taking some advice here as I'm talking to you.
Okay,
just like really enjoy the moment and sit back. But talking about advice and talking about single moms, right? You talked about what advice you would give to those that are maybe with this impending fact that's coming up on a looming layoff.
Yeah.
Looming layoffs are real right now. Right. But what advice would you give to the single mama, the one that is like going through the same struggles that you've gone through and learning how to balance the career and how to balance, you know, the life at home as the primary breadwinner, as the only breadwinner?
Yeah. I think 2 things come to mind. One's practical, one's operational. And the first thing is that to build your community. Like I would not be where I am without my community around me.
Absolutely.
And it's different facets too. I rely on my parents and my sister who live close by to help me with my daughter when I'm traveling. I rely on my girlfriends, whether they're personal life people or people that I met through work, to bounce things off of, because I don't have a partner currently to kind of think through these things. Yeah. So I've got my little executive council that I surround myself with.
The committee.
Yes. And I have the people that I go to for different things. And it makes my life easier to actually think things through, and having those people in my life that can help me with the day to day, and then can also tell me when I'm being an idiot. Right. So, or that's really great. Do that, or ask for more here. That community in all aspects of my life is so important.
Yeah.
And then the second piece is the sort of operational one. Just do it. Not Nike. Sorry, not like that. But like,
no, like
figure it out.
Do it.
Yeah, just do it. Figure it out.
Yeah.
I genuinely feel that whatever success I've come to in my life has been by putting myself out there. And if you fall on your face, fine. But if you actually put yourself out for things maybe you just look a little underqualified for, or that you could grow into, you'll figure it out. You always do. If you can just put yourself out there and try for more, or try for the things that interest you, worry about the operations of it all later. You can rely on your people to help you figure that out.
Yeah.
But I don't if I wasn't a little bit delusional about putting myself out for opportunities, I don't think I would have ever applied at Twitter. And that's a job that changed my life.
Wow. I love that. That is super special. And it's like, it really is coming down to surrounding yourself with people that believe in you, but also aren't going to give you any fluff. They're going to shoot it to you straight. They're going to be the ones that show up. When it matters. Like how they're showing up for both of us right now, and how we're able to do this in the other side of the country. Yeah. And we have kids and a career at home waiting for us, or waiting for us through the phone. But that's really important.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on to the next, I mean, you talked about it a little bit, the career growth versus the motherhood trajectory, and like what you've done in your own career. And most of the time though, like, you have mentioned that, like, hey, you just need to go for it, but also like humble yourself and enjoy the moment and say, I don't need to take over the world here in doing so. So if you were looking at that and knowing that you've passed up on some of the opportunities that have come your way over the last 10 years, what do you want the next 10 years to look like for you? Your daughter's older now, right?
Yeah.
It's not like bottles and diapers anymore. You don't know what you're going to step on. Like,
that is true. I almost stepped on an earring in the kitchen the other day, and I was spitting mad, as we say in the South. I was not happy.
Oof. Fuming. I step on some really questionable stuff.
It's always not what you expect. It's not always just Legos, guys.
Sometimes like, what is that gooey?
Oh yeah, the slime. No, thank you.
Yes.
For the next 10 years, it's interesting because I do think that, I've had some time to be a mom of a little, and she's 8 now. And in some ways it's almost harder because she's much more vocal and not as portable as she used to be.
Not as portable. No, like pick her up and take her here.
No, like she has input. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go there. And sometimes you have to just be mom and be like, I hear you, but this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So the next 10 years, I think I really see myself continuing to invest in myself.
Yeah.
Continuing to put myself in circles with people that I know will lift me up, and hopefully I can lift them up too. And continuing to do work that I'm passionate about, and while still being clear. And I think I've finally learned how to set some boundaries in the last couple of years, which is exciting. So
I've got to talk about the boundary setting.
Listen, it's not the easiest thing in the world. But block your calendar. That's number one. Okay? Block your calendar.
One. Yes. Okay.
People get so mad at me because I block my calendar after 5 automatically. And so like a dinner meeting, people will say, well, you just rejected it. I'm like, because if it were
no, then maybe yes, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to start from a place of no.
Yes. That is so funny. And I mean, it really is like just so hard to deal with sometimes, because you do feel like saying yes and like saying yes over and over again. So like, how, outside of blocking the calendar, how else have you learned to just kind of set some boundaries?
I think knowing And again, this is very privileged because I remember times in my career where this was a non-starter. But having the political capital or working in a company where I can say, I am mom first.
Ooh.
And if you put a meeting on my calendar and I blocked it for family time or for a school event, I'm not showing up. And that's okay with my bosses, as long as I'm clear, I show up for what I need to.
Have you experienced the other side of that at some point in your?
Yeah. I have. I won't name any names. There was an experience in my life where we had somebody got walked out of the office.
Wow.
Because they were.
It wasn't you.
God, no. Okay, that would never recover from that mentally. But I freaked out because we actually walked out a handful of people that were up to no good in the office. Not important why. But my ex-husband and I had just put all of our money down on a house. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And so I started crying. Also, I'm 25 in this story. So like the frontal cortex, maybe not all the way.
Still developing.
Yeah. And this woman never, ever let me forget that I was crying. She told some of the male leadership that I was too weak to be in staffing because I was crying at work, not realizing that I was scared. And that would, for me now, that would not fly.
Yeah.
Like, you're allowed to be a human being at work.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you need to cry on every call you get on, right? Or that you need to express all of your emotions every day.
Yeah.
But now, in my mind, if that was ever presented to me as a way that I was not allowed to be an authentic human at work, I would be out.
Yeah.
I'm going to find another job first, right? But I think that's okay to have those standards of what you expect in the workplace and then enforce them.
Yes. I was going to say, I think that it's actually a generational shift.
Oh.
Maybe I don't want to go crazy and throw out millennials and Gen Zers and Gen Xers here, but when I was going into my career, that was so different than where I feel like we are now, where it's a prioritization of this is not your why. You have whys at home. And that is why we are fulfilling what we do. And that is our priority 100% of the time. And when I was walking into my career 10, 12 years ago, it was not like that.
No, I agree. And that's why I love Gen Z. I love them. They're amazing.
Yes.
They know what they want. They communicate it.
They're going to look up your social stance on Facebook.
Yes.
Or not Facebook. They'll do it on TikTok. They're going to do it on TikTok. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, no, on MySpace.
Yeah, no MySpace.
I love them. They're so open. They're so free. And I think with millennials, like, I think we came into a workplace that was mostly run by boomers.
Yeah, we're in that like weird middle.
Lucky us.
Yeah, we got to see both sides of the paradigm here that's happening.
But I think it is truly a mindset shift, because I think a lot of people who are in that generation, not all, but a lot of them think like, well, I had a tough time, so now you have to have a tough time too.
Yeah. Been working since I was 9.
Right, exactly. And that's,
I don't know why they talk like that in my mind.
It's the caricature of it all. Yeah. It just feels right.
Yes. Yeah.
But, millennials, and then even more so Gen Z, I think we are very like, we all rise together.
Yeah.
There's no needless sort of, I think suffering is a little bit of an intense word, but I think it is truly a mind shift set. And like, we're just kind of like wedged in between those.
For sure. For sure. So one of the things that you mentioned earlier, and I'm kind of ping-ponging here, but this is why we're having fun.
Okay. Good.
You mentioned like in the next 10 years, you want to invest in yourself, right?
Yeah.
Your daughter's name is Elizabeth. So if Elizabeth is looking back on that, and now she's 18, she's going on a 20, she's going into like college, hopefully. What do you think that's going to set as an example for her? Or how would you hope for that to set as an example for her?
I think in a lot of ways, one of the things I missed in my teens and early 20s is that I can stand on my own.
Oh, yeah. You depended a lot. Huh?
Yeah, I think
there's that safety net always there, right?
Yeah. I mean, I got married when I was 21.
Wow.
22.
Yeah. So you had your parents and then you went right into marriage.
Yeah. And I think that was one of the scariest things about getting divorced at 30. I was like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But I think the cool thing is that I've modeled for her that it's okay to have standards, and back to boundaries. It's okay to have boundaries, and you can stand on your own 2 feet mentally, physically, financially, all of the things. So I kind of hope I'm raising, again, in a different way, a gritty human being who is still infused with empathy and loves education and
Her mama invest in herself, so she's going to do it now.
That's what I'm hoping for. But there is a fine line, I think, between feeling like you can invest in yourself and am I being selfish? And I don't want to, like, sometimes you can dip over into the selfish, but it can't be an all the time thing.
No, absolutely. That definitely makes a lot of sense. And I think if there were, let's say that there's a couple of female leaders that are in a position right now to drive change and actually make an impact in terms of how their culture is aligning towards, the personal gratification that we're doing what we do, but we do it for our whys. What are some of those things that you've seen in a successful culture that has made you feel comfortable to know this is my personal time, and if it's something that's going to cross a line, I'm not going to do it? How can you give advice to somebody that's helping build actual policy and driving culture around that?
Yeah, I mean, so I mentioned Amy Deal earlier.
Yeah.
One of the things that changed my whole outlook on work writ large was when Amy sat all of us, like, rowdy 20-somethings in a room when we were supporting the LinkedIn account at Workforce Logic, and was like, listen, enough competition.
Oh.
She's like, there.
Wow.
Yeah,
I love that.
Enough.
Because that is so impossibly hard, and especially in our industry, like, statistics cut our throat.
Yes. But, like, I'm like, oh, we're a team. We're like a services team.
Yeah.
She's like, if one of you is weak, we are all weak. So, I mean,
so powerful.
I wish it's been a while. I can't remember her exact words, but that was the message that I took away from it. And that has completely shifted my mindset. Like, I truly operate from a place of there is enough success to go around. And I think if you can foster that kind of environment in your team, you're really setting a strong foundation. And that's part of why I love my team at Zendesk too. Like, we all kind of have our own towers, but there's never a shortage of the mindset of, like, let me jump in and help you. Or, like, my boss, for example, he's a director, but right now he's covering things for me. There's a lot of that sort of go, do your thing, come back. You're going to do a great job when you're here. One of the things that I really love about working for my European bosses is, for the first time ever last year, I took a 2-week vacation. I have never done that before.
Yeah.
And I went to Spain with my best friend. And then I came back and took a vacation with my kid for a week. And I came back and I was like, I'm a person. I'm a person.
I'm human.
Yeah. So
that's so great.
That, like, really genuine, authentic, we got each other's back. We all succeed together.
Yeah.
I know there are people that say that, but if you actually hold your team to it and do it in practice of cross-training, cross-education.
I'm like that emoji with the hands raised right now. I love it.
Yeah. So that's really been the most powerful thing.
That's incredibly powerful. I also took a 2-week vacation in December for the first time in nearly 5 years. No, and nearly 3 years. And the last time I did take a vacation, I actually had a baby. So I don't know. I mean, you call that a vacation?
That was what crossed my mind when I took the vacation. I was like, I don't think I've been out this long since maternity leave. And then I was
Wasn't that wild?
That was not a vacation.
What helped you? Like, what helped you make that decision? Was it the peers around you that were like, go on a vacation?
Well, my VP, who was my boss at the time, basically told me that one of my OKRs was learning how to relax.
And there's a clear sign there.
Yeah, right? I mean, listen, it did not go in Workday, but it was a definite direction.
I love that.
And I started to realize, like, just kind of practicing some kind of self-awareness, like, when I get to that edge, like, I'm not performing. I have to rest.
Wow. Yes.
I have to, like, have a life. I can't just come in and be like procurement automaton all the day.
Robot.
Yeah. No, nobody wants that. Yeah.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, I better start taking some of this feedback seriously.
Yeah.
And
that is so good.
Yeah, but I feel good. I told my boss the other, like, couple weeks ago when we were in San Francisco, I was like, I feel like a person again. Like, I've made time for interests. I've made time for travel. And again, like, I always want to couch that with, like, that is a privilege. Because there are people that cannot do that. They don't have the supportive boss or like the environment to do it.
Or even the means.
Or the means. Yeah, exactly. Still paying off that trip to Spain. Yeah. But I was able to do it.
Save your money.
Yeah, save your money. Do as I say, not as I do.
Learn from me. Oh, that is awesome. It's incredible how we can just go so long without actually taking the time to like reinvest in yourself. And I guess what was prompting you was the fact that you were being guided by some of the mentors. But one of the things, and then this is going to be one of my last questions, unfortunately, I'm so sad, but I had to say that, is the fact that you're not performing well. So then let's give some advice here to the listeners. The signs to look for when you are facing burnout. And I think that there's a lot of us that have been there. Obviously, somebody that hasn't taken a vacation in years probably knows a little bit about that, right?
Yeah.
So are there any stress signs that you could like share some wisdom with, and that kind of would raise an alarm, raise a flag on, oh, snap.
Yeah.
I need to pause.
Well, it's so funny too, because that same offsite in San Francisco, we actually did a little teamwork on knowing your signs, right?
Ooh,
so I really I really appreciate my leadership's investment in that particular topic. Yeah. I think for me, it's when I spin on things, when I don't know. It's good to know when to quit. And if I'm just like thinking myself in a circle, if I'm agitated with simple requests that I normally would be happy to do for someone, when you're in that moment where you're like, just go look it up on the help center, like, sit back. You know what I mean? Like, it's time to take a break. I also noticed like I like working out in the morning.
Yeah.
And if I'm not doing it because I'm in meetings early, and I look at my Apple Watch and I haven't been to the gym in 5 days, and I'm like, okay, like time to put that block on and go take care of yourself. Yeah. Those are mine, but really the big tell for me is the agitation.
Yeah.
Just snapping at people for no reason.
Yeah. I find myself in this unproductive loop. That makes
sense. The spinning.
It is the spinning. So but it is almost like I get to the busyness of just responding to the teams, the pings, the emails, the meetings, and that's it. Like I'm not actually focusing on deep work, strategy, like actually things that help my brain develop. Does that make sense?
I feel like that almost accelerates it for me when I'm just in the operational, like the little activities.
The little activities.
And I'm not, again, like back to boundaries, like setting that time on my calendar. No meetings on Friday.
Yeah.
Does that happen?
Yeah.
But like at least I have this big block of time for deep work. It doesn't happen. But it's better than just 2 as opposed to 8.
You know, I was on a call and they had scheduled the meeting for 25 minutes. I was like, okay. And it was like a 30-minute meeting. And I was like, so I saw that your EA scheduled it for 25 minutes. And he said, no, yeah, we don't do 30-minute meetings.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I picked that up at Twitter. Yeah. We did 5 minutes past the hour.
Yeah.
Or whatever, half hour, because everyone was always late.
Yeah.
And so building in automatically that 5-minute block, it's a game changer.
It is.
I think
bio breaks are amazing.
And so necessary. What are you going to do?
So necessary.
What are you going to do? You can't
you can't just sit there in front of the camera. No. One of the things that I also like hear you say too, that I think I can relate to a lot, which I just don't like as somebody that's in a leadership position, I hope that it can like provide some examples there. But if I need to walk outside, I'm going to go walk. I'm going to go get sunshine. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to go work out. I'm going to go invest into some exertion of physically because I feel like a physical response to the burnout.
Yeah.
Like the kind of like the tension, the jaw.
Yes. Yes. I carry it in my shoulders.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's a physical tell. Sometimes I'll be like, and it's so funny.
You're looking at yourself on a meeting and being like, this isn't right.
Well, no, my daughter calls me out. She's like, what's wrong with your shoulder? I'm like, oh, nothing. It's fine.
So true.
She's my biggest troll, that one.
Yes. They're amazing, though. They're little amazing trolls. Oh, Angela, it was so amazing to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I think we're going to do a follow-up for CWS.
I'm excited.
For those that are listening and or watching us, we might do something fun with that. No surprise. I mean, completely secret on what we want the theme for that to be.
But we already have a plan.
Yeah, plan for CWS.
Yeah. The Angela and Angela podcast, part 2.
There will be others, contributors to that, and potentially a few glasses of champagne.
Oh. Well, yeah.
Did I just ruin a part of this?
No.
Okay.
Listen, if I'm there, there is champagne.
Yeah.
That's the expected outcome.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. This was awesome. We really appreciate you having you and like all the insight that you shared. I love the flow of today's show because I think that this is relatable to most people out
I hope
there.
so, yeah.
Yeah. And we didn't talk about vendor management systems and how you bring your stakeholders in and how you're planning your budgeting. We talked about like the realness of what we're going through.
Yeah.
So thank you for being vulnerable,
Of course.
and being that voice. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in, spending some time. It's like the most precious gift that you can give us is your time. So we appreciate you guys spending some time with us today. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Leaders Unfiltered.